Welcome to Extraterrestrial Reality. Would you believe that this road that I'm walking on right now, it's called the Old Catawissa Road. Back in the 1700s, 1800s, it was considered a highway here in Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania. Of course, for horses. And the friend here with me today is Roxy. She's a border collie cattle dog. She wanted to come for the walk. Right, Roxy? She already found a stick to run around with. She's having a great old time. She loves getting out and about. Oh, look at her. She's waiting for me. She feels bad for the old man. I want to talk about, of course, UFOs. You know, a lot of cases happen. Some famous cases actually happen when people are out and about on their own in the middle of nowhere where there's no other people. People walking down a path like this, sometimes they'll come across a landed UFO. You think about the 1967 case, Falcon Lake, Manitoba, Canada, with Stephen McCallick. He thought it was some sort of a top secret. He see some flying objects, saucers running around, and he thinks, you know, he sees one land it. He thinks it's some sort of a top secret government device. He goes up to it, and he ends up getting badly burned. You know, these things don't seem to land. They seem to land in places where they know not a lot of people are going to see them. So you never. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, if you're out and about, you know, chances are you'll never see anything. You know, you could live your whole life. You could walk through the wilderness all you want, but you'll never ever come across anything. I think it's just luck. You know, timing. Who knows? But you could live your whole life. I mean, I had that one sighting back in 1994 during a fishing trip near Hazleton, Pennsylvania. But, you know, that was all just timing and luck. Being at the right place at the right time. Hey, you think about that 1979 case in Scotland, the Detchmont Woods. Talk about that a lot on the show, too. Robert Taylor was walking in the woods there in the Detchmont Forest. And he sees some sort of a craft with two little, just sitting on the ground there. Looks like a flying saucer. And there's two spiked balls there. Next thing he knows, those spiked balls comes rolling up toward him. They knock him out. He wakes up. Everything's gone. His clothes are torn up. You know, you just don't know what you're going to find out here in the wild when you're walking around by yourself. Chances are nothing. I spent a good deal of my life walking around these woods like this. One time only, you know, that fishing trip back in '94. Outside of that, nothing. I don't expect to see anything here today either, except maybe some wild animals running around. Who knows? You never know. Could come across a bear. Hopefully not. I don't know what Roxy will do if that happens. But, you know, I guess this is the kind of place, you know, you see a lot of the documentaries and from David Paulides, the Missing 411 documentaries. People go out in the woods, you know, disappear mysteriously. You know, some cases could be just murderers on the loose. Could be some wild animal. Sometimes it could be something else. You don't know what you're going to experience out here in the woods. You just don't know. But I could hear a lot of critters walking around. Not just the dog walking here. I could hear a lot of other things walking around. It's good exercise, though, to get out and do stuff like this. It really is. But there's some other places we're going to talk about today, too, that are on this road. Including, there's a grave out here in the middle of nowhere. We're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about a place where a guy saw Bigfoot back in the 1970s. I'm going to show you that spot here today too. We're going to talk about that story. So it's going to be a lot of fun. You know, to hear the difference between people like Stephen Mihalich and Robert Taylor, the things that happened to those guys, the difference between them and if something like that were to happen today is that those guys back then didn't have cell phones with good cameras on them. Imagine if they would have. You know, sooner or later something like that's going to happen, where somebody's going to be out and about in the middle of nowhere walking around, no other persons with them. However, they're going to come across maybe a landed craft, maybe one flying right above them, and they're going to be able to get some pretty good footage of it. And as we know, there are ways to determine whether somebody is manufacturing a hoax using CGI. Those things, you'd be able to rule them out if you're able to actually capture something. See, this is one of the reasons why we need to have disclosure, because our technology just keeps getting bigger and better all the time. And sooner or later, somebody's going to get something that's going to be even more spectacular than what we already have. I mean, we already have some really spectacular footage that has been captured on cell phones. Some of it irrefutable, as we all know. However, someday, you know, somebody's going to be out and about, maybe a hunter, somebody just out there walking their dog like I am right now, and they're going to get something that's going to be really amazing. So, as time goes on, it really puts the gatekeepers in an untenable position. They're going to have to, you know, come clean sooner or later. Yeah. Oh yeah, and I did receive some, regarding the last show, I received some messages from people about it. Some people, I think they're taking things the wrong way. They're taking things too hard about what I say regarding the demons from hell hypothesis. All I'm saying is I don't believe that. Is there anything wrong with me having my own beliefs? Or is that problematic for some people? Somebody made a point that I'm making fun of people. I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm just saying I don't believe in that hypothesis. No, I think they're creatures from other planets. I call my show Extraterrestrial Reality, if you haven't noticed. So, I don't know what to say about it. But, see, some people get really upset when you start talking about religion. And I'm not trying to get anybody upset. I mean, everybody has some form of religion, right? Some people don't believe in anything, of course. I look at it like this. This whole existence is a miracle. Our whole life, this whole existence, it's incredible. But I just don't have any answers about how it all happened. I mean, I know that there's people who subscribe to their different holy books and then fall back on their religions and they get answers that way. That's great, right? And actually, I do for some of it too. So I don't know why some people got mad at this. Yeah, it would be something else if we were to find something up here. Hey, I got the cell phone ready to go. I doubt it though. Probably 1 in a billion, 1 in a 2 billion or something like that to run into something like that. It's doesn't seem like it happens all the time. I mean, I'm not talking just about something flying around. I'm talking about something landed, like in the Falcon Lake and Robert Taylor case from 1979, Denchmont Forest. Because I believe those two guys. I mean, for one thing, the Denchmont Woods incident, I mean, there was marks left in the ground from whatever was there. How could you deny it? You couldn't make something like that up. So, and of course, Stephen Mihalich, he had the bodily injuries to show what happened to him. So yeah, you just never know. But pretty soon we're going to be coming up upon a grave. It was the first person ever murdered in this region, in Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania. He was murdered for basically pennies, for nothing, and left to die in the woods. And there's actually a monument up here where he is, where he's buried. I'm going to show you that. And then after that, I'm going to take it to a spot where a guy had an incredible encounter with a Bigfoot back in the mid-1970s. Here we are, the Peddler's grave. Yeah, you won't find this advertised anywhere. You won't see any signs leading to it. This is something that the people in this area, pretty much only people around here know about, the Peddler's grave. Let's go check it out. Looks like a little bit different since the last time I was here. Looks like they fixed it up with some benches. Looks nice. Oh yes, everyone sticks pennies inside the words engraved in the headstone here. The Peddler's grave. Let's zoom it in a little bit. Jost Folhaber died August 11, 1797. Near this spot was committed the first known murder in this section. Folhaber, a traveling peddler, was ambushed, cruelly murdered, and robbed. He and his horse were left to die by the wayside. His assailant was tried, found guilty, and hanged. Yep, 1798. Some guy named Bailey. He's the one who was responsible. And you can find a lot of more information about the Peddler's grave online. Of course, I'll leave a link to it. Here's some information about it. This is where he was killed, near this spot. This is from an article from a website called PA Oddities. It says here, in a lonesome spot on North Mahanoy Mountain near the number 3 reservoir on Waste House Run lies a peculiar grave with a peculiar history. This is the final resting place of Jost Folhaber, a German merchant who became the first known murder victim in Schuylkill County. The spot, known locally as the Peddler's grave, has been one of the coal region's best kept secrets ever since Folhaber's gruesome death in the summer of 1797. It says here, he stopped at some Reich tavern, some tavern here in a nearby village, Mahanoy City, and he met up with this guy named Benjamin Bailey. It says here, on Thursday, August 10, 1797, 2 travelers spent the night at Reich Tavern. One was a hunter from New Jersey by the name of Benjamin Bailey, the other a Jewish merchant named Jost Folhaber, whose name also appears in early records as either Folhaber or Folhaber. Bailey had already been a guest at the tavern for 10 days prior to the day Folhaber arrived on a horse laden with tin pots, copper utensils, and other wares the itinerant merchant sold to pioneer families. Bailey, a native of Morristown, was 31 years of age and had left New Jersey in search of adventure in the Pennsylvania wilderness. Bailey had little money, but Reich provided room and board in exchange for squirrels, rabbits, and other small game Bailey was able to shoot with his rifle. The following morning at breakfast, Bailey struck up a conversation with the Jewish peddler. After watching him sell several pots and pans to the tavern's proprietor, realizing that the new arrival was literally jingling with coins, Bailey cozied up to Folhaber and asked him about what route he had planned to take. And then, of course, he hunted him down, and then he killed him, and he didn't get much money out of him, basically a pittance. He thought that the guy was carrying lots of money on him, and he really wasn't. Only had about 5 pounds. So it was all for nothing. So this marks the first murder in this county, in this region. For, why? Greed, obviously. And the guy was hanged. He was convicted. They found out about it. They found the guy's body. Again, I'll leave a link for this so you can check it out for yourself. But like I was talking about the other day, there's a lot of very interesting things with regards to like local history, like every little area, every little pocket throughout the world, where there's all great little histories. And here's another little segment of history from this area. Very interesting stuff. Well, now we're heading on to another spot, a spot where some guy I interviewed back in 1999 told me that he had seen a Bigfoot creature. Very interesting story. Guy was very, very credible. And obviously there's something going on with that. There's just too many witnesses over the years. We'd be fools not to, it's just like the UFO situation. All these people aren't lying. Okay, here's an article that I wrote for the Hazleton Standard Speaker back in the 1990s. It was published on October 17th, 1999. And the headline reads, "Was it Bigfoot? Mahanoy man recalls 1975 encounter with creature." By yours truly. And then for some reason I thought it was prudent to throw in a quote from Shakespeare. I don't know why. I don't think I would do that today, but back in 1999, that's what I did. "There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy." And then the article reads, "The worldwide scientific community, for the most part, bases its main concentration of study on things it knows to exist. Because of this, many subjects that delve into areas where there are witnesses to an interesting event, something that sounds too fantastic to be real, are acknowledged but usually not taken seriously. The search for truth with regards to controversial and unexplainable occurrences or claims will continue to be written off by science as nonsense until there is solid, undeniable proof to finally substantiate the unbelievable. That in mind, strange phenomena reported about, such as UFOs, extraterrestrial encounters, ghosts, spontaneous human combustion, sea monsters, etc., will continue to be viewed with a skeptical eye by those who know only of what they are told is real, until, of course, the scientific world says otherwise. One of the biggest, most popular mysteries to present itself before humankind has been the prospect that a half-man, half-beast creature roams the isolated and wooded areas of North America. There has never been any solid proof offered that Bigfoot, tagged as Sasquatch by American Indians, really exists, but it continues to baffle and challenge the imagination of those wanting the mystery solved. All that society knows for sure about the creature is that some people claim to have seen, heard, or smelled the thing. Film, video, and photographs exist that allegedly depict the creature, and mammoth footprints that some believe are proof of Bigfoot's existence have been discovered. Though many of the Bigfoot sightings have been reported in the Pacific Northwestern part of the United States, information obtained from the internet has Bigfoot sightings occurring in almost every state. In fact, numerous sightings have been reported in several counties of Pennsylvania throughout the years, including Columbia and Monroe counties. One area, however, where no Bigfoot sighting was officially recorded according to the internet is Schuylkill County, until now. Mahanoy City resident Gary Urban recently recalled a weird and wild day he had nearly 25 years ago, an experience that he says still raises the goosebumps on his flesh. It was the middle of the summer in 1975. Urban, then 16, and living in the Mahanoy Township village of Ellengowan, had just bought a new Kawasaki 500 motorcycle. "I remember that right after I got the motorcycle, it rained for a few days, and I couldn't wait to take it for a drive," he said. A nice day finally came, and Urban took his new motorcycle for a spin. His testing grounds were a series of dirt roads and trails located east of Shenandoah near the small village of Yatesville. On a recent return trip to the area, Urban said he would never go there alone or without a gun because I still remember it like it happened yesterday. Recent rains had left many muddy spots and water-filled puddles along the road. But suddenly, Urban came to a seemingly inescapable body of water in the middle of the road. He quickly locked up his brakes and the motorcycle slid through the puddle before stalling out on an island in the middle of it. After repeated attempts to restart the bike failed, Urban pulled out a cigarette, and right when I struck the match, I heard footsteps. There was someone walking behind me. The section where Urban's motorcycle stalled out was bookcased by heavy woods and was on land that was privately owned, he said. My first thought was that it was a game warden or landowner ready to tell me that I wasn't supposed to be there, Urban recalled. As I turned around to where the noise was coming from, I remember I was already starting to think of an excuse to tell whoever it was. I turned to give him a story. However, what Urban saw wasn't a human being. What I saw was this creature walking away from me, he said. Urban said this was the most frightening experience of his life, and he froze in shock momentarily as a monstrous apparition traipsed about only a few yards away from him. The creature, Urban said it was at least 8 feet tall and covered with heavy, matted down brown fur or hair, walked through the woods not needing to push the trees out of its way. It didn't need to move anything. Everything moved for it, he said. Urban said all the heavy brush and trees unfolded out of the creature's way as it walked, much like the grass moves when a person walks through it. He said he never saw the creature's face as it didn't turn to face him. Its shoulders, he said, were incredibly wide, similar to a football player with shoulder pads on. I couldn't make out the shape of its head, and it looked like it didn't have a neck, he said. I knew it wasn't a bear because it didn't have a bear's waddle, and it walked straight as an arrow through the woods. Urban said the creature must have been standing near or on the road just before his motorcycle stalled out. Because of its immense size, Urban said, he could have easily mistaken it for a tree if he had in fact driven past it. After the thing disappeared in the woods, Urban got the motorcycle started and went back to his Ellengowan home. When I got home, my mom said to me that it looked like I saw a ghost, he said. I told her she was pretty close. Urban said he tried to convince his brothers to go back to the site with him to look for footprints. He was adamant that he wasn't about to ever go there alone, but they didn't believe me. And he said the story even now might sound hard to believe. I know what I saw that day was real, he said. What would I have to gain by telling people a story like this? Nothing. I'm a Christian, and if I had a Bible, I'd swear on it that I really saw it. Regarding photographs and film that allegedly depict a Bigfoot, Urban said he has never seen anything that looks like the thing I saw that day. So there you go. That was an incredible story, and I thought that this guy was very believable. Very nice guy. I remember talking to him. He took me out to the site. You can see in the newspaper article there was a picture that I actually took of him when we got out there, and I believe that story. I believe that there are creatures out there walking in the wild, Bigfoot creatures, and someday we're going to be able to prove that too. Just as we've proven recently that there are alien creatures, there's an alien presence, as we all know now for a fact. Come on, doggy. Yeah, this is a very nice spot out here. It's a water dam. That means we're getting close to where the Bigfoot sighting occurred. Almost there. This is I've been walking around for a few miles here today. Took a couple of wrong paths because it's been a long time since I've been here. But I think I have my bearings now. Yeah, this is a beautiful spot. Well, you sure like those puddles, doggy. Yeah, this looks like Bigfoot country, doesn't it? I could see it. I could see one traipsing around here. There's nobody here. Look at all these full of empty space. Lonely space. This is the spot. This is the spot where the Bigfoot encounter happened. It was right across this road. Right across this road and into these bushes, into these trees. That's the spot where Bigfoot was seen. You can see all the puddles that possibly could have caused his bike to kick out. But this is the spot. Walked right across this road into those trees. Imagine that. Imagine that. Well, I'll tell you what, I had a workout today. I don't know how many miles I walked. I had to be at least 6 or 7. I took wrong trails a few times, but yeah, it's still fun to get out and about. Looks like I think I'm finally almost back to the car right now. The dog's all pooped out. She's trailing me. But anyway, I say thank you all for joining me. Until next time.